Hey guys, so for today's lesson I have this apple, and it's going to represent something that we've been learning about lately. Can anybody take any guesses what this might represent? Right, okay, so this apple is going to represent planet Earth. And what I'm going to do is to cut this apple into a couple of pieces of different sizes, and each different size piece is going to represent a different portion of land. And ultimately what I'm going to show you is how little land we have to actually grow food. And based on what we've been learning, and the video we watched at the beginning of class with growing populations, I think you might be surprised to know how little of land on Earth is actually able to grow food, which means arable. So I'm going to start off, and I'm going to cut this apple into quarters. Can anybody tell me what a quarter is? Right, 1/4. So, I have 4 quarters of this apple, and as you can see, 3/4 I'm going to put away because that represents water. And now that leaves us with 1/4. So what I want you to do is, along with me, keep track of the different proportions and what they represent on Earth in your notebooks. So I've already started, but we had whole apple representing planet Earth, and now we have 1/4 of the apple representing land. So we have this 1/4 representing land, but unfortunately not all this land is able to grow food. In fact, only a small portion of it is. So my next cut is I'm going to cut this 1/4 again into 4 pieces in half. So it's going to be, I'm going to cut it in half, and it's going to be now 1/8 of the whole apple. So now we have these 2 smaller pieces. They represent 1/8 and 1/8. But of these, only half of what I have here, so 1/8 of it, so I'll keep this piece, represents habitable land, which means land we can live on. Now, can anybody think of land that is uninhabitable? Right, okay, so deserts, Antarctica, that kind of stuff. So of this habitable land, I'm going to cut it again into 4 more pieces. So now we have 32nds of the apple. So now, of these 32nds, 3 of them mean non-arable, and 1 of them is arable. And as we've learned from our vocabulary, that means that 3 of these pieces you cannot grow food on, and only 1 of these pieces you can. So now I'm going to put these ungrowable or uninhabitable pieces on the plate of non-usable portions of Earth. And as you can see, that leaves us with this little tiny chunk. And this is only 1/32 of the apple. So now I'm going to cut the apple again. Oh, and we're going to keep track of that in our notes. So now we only have 1/32 of it being arable. But as you can see, I'm going to cut it again. And can anybody guess what you think this next cut is going to be? So this next cut is just the peel of the 1/32 of the apple that we have. And this little teeny tiny peel represents topsoil. And that means the land on the Earth that can actually grow food. And as we learned before, that means it's arable. So out of this whole apple, only this little tiny piece of land is actually capable of growing food. And now I want you to think about this question. Based on the video we watched and how the Earth's population is growing exponentially and it's going to keep on growing, how do you think that this little tiny piece of land is going to support humans in all the food we need? And knowing how soil erosion and the environmental damage that has been going on, how is that going to affect the future? Are people going to be able to eat? So we will find out.